Hello and welcome. Today we are in the Tier 5 Japanese cruiser, the Furutaka. And she has come a long way. She used to be... I think calling her bad is a bit of an understatement. She's a ship I once made a video about that the best way to play her is to, well, simply skip her and just free XP the Aoba. However, at this point, the Furutaka is, in my opinion at least, the best Tier 5 tech tree ship. And as evidence, one of the ranked seasons we had at Tier 5, I think it was a sprint season, but I can't remember for sure, Furutaka actually ended up having the best performance out of the Tier 5 tech tree ships. And she was only outdone by like 2 premium ships. So Furutaka nowadays is incredibly powerful, and it has happened over time, and there's actually, like, if you look at the ship, you can see why she is so powerful. And the reason is that her armor scheme is very good. You see, while she does have the regular cruiser bow and aft at this tier that, you know, is easily overmatchable, her side and middle top armor plate, deck armor plate, are actually enough to bounce battleship shells at this tier. Not all of them, but quite many, especially if you're in a tier 4 to 5 game. And the thing is that even though it's possible to overmatch her bow is long enough that I would argue that many shells are unable to penetrate it, especially because there's... basically, if the ship angles slightly, there are these other armor plates that will help bounce the shells, meaning that basically if Furutaka comes at you angled, it's going to be very difficult to overmatch her with a battleship. So it's possible for a Furutaka basically to sail towards a battleship with impunity, more or less. It's technically possible to get a Citadel hit, but it's very unlikely. Now if she shows side, of course, yes, that's a... You know, that's going to be dangerous for the Furutaka, but at this tier, that's the case for every single cruiser. And Furutaka also has the longest range torpedoes at tier 5. And I'm not talking like out of cruisers, I'm talking, I think, out of all the ships. Because she has 10km torpedoes at tier 5. How many destroyers have 10km torpedoes at tier 5? I think it's none, right? Now, she also gets a hydro, obviously, because you don't have defensive fire at tier 5. And she even gets a float fighter, meaning that she can defend herself somewhat from CVs, but honestly it's kinda weak. Now, where she fails at is firepower. Her damage per minute numbers are actually really weak. Okay, maybe not really weak, but pretty weak for a cruiser anyway. There are destroyers that you can run into at this tier that put out more damage. Actually, there are quite a few of them that put out more damage than a Furutaka does. But of course, none of them come with the protection that Furutaka does. And yeah, the Furutaka, because of her armor, is just so nice. Because you can do so many crazy things against battleships. And since you have torpedoes, actually getting close to a ship is really useful. And, you'll see later when that happens. Right now, I'm just sitting far away because it's a double CV game. And you never know what happens at the start of the game. You don't want to YOLO rush because you're gonna get punished for it, right? Eventually. So right now I'm just trying to sit in a central location, see what's up in the match, and then decide later what to do. And you know, while I do that, I'm gonna deal some damage. Sure, I might have only done 13.5k damage, but hey, this is tier 5, that's half the HP of an Omaha, for example. So Furutaka, going back to her, she's just strong. And I think that everybody who has played her in the past, like long ago when she wasn't this strong, should try her again. Because I would argue that tier by tier, Furutaka is, if not the strongest Japanese cruiser tier by tier, she's definitely one of them. She is very good. Oh, and one other thing to keep in mind is that she has 203mm caliber guns, meaning that her AP can overmatch quite many ships here. You know, when we're talking about cruisers, and those big guns can penetrate battleships too, but obviously, or maybe not obviously, but I don't think they can get citadels. Of course, I might be wrong. Maybe somebody has played like, I don't know, 2,000 games in the Furutaka and knows her intimately, but I don't. I've only played her a little bit. But, you know, just looking at the values on the ship, she's very, very powerful. Oh, a Kaiser is shooting at me, so let's angle. Okay, never mind. This one just missed completely. Oh, and another thing to keep in mind, she's actually fairly maneuverable as far as heavy cruisers go anyway. So now I'm just falling back because I've looked at the minimap, and you guys can also look at it, and as we can see, we're doing a little ring around Rosie, except there's no Rosie in the middle. There's just empty space that nobody seems to want to go into. Our side is pushing down from the right side of the map, and the enemy side is pushing up from the left side. And since I stayed mostly in our spawn and we have 2 CVs, I decide to try to fight defensively on this side. Because Furutaka is good at defending due to her very good torpedoes, meaning that you can torpedo all kinds of things. And hey, CV planes are around. Let's launch the float fighter. It's not the greatest. It doesn't feel anywhere near as useful as float fighters do at higher tiers. But I mean, the planes aren't as dangerous either, so maybe it's not quite as bad. I think this Kaiser needs to go soon though, because I don't really want to open up my sight. I mean, yes, I know I am right now, but I'm just trying to turn away. Come on. Excellent. Only 4k damage. Well, that's acceptable. That could have hurt me a lot more. But now I'm mostly angled again. The Britannia can't fire at me for a while, so I can still sail broadside to her. And the Colbert is behind the island. Britannia is gonna be able to fire on me soon, so I need to turn. And hey, I think she just fired on me. But it's okay. I'll be fine. And now it's time to turn again, launch torpedoes from the other side, on the battleships that are advancing on my position. Sure, there's a friendly destroyer behind me, but honestly, I think you need to take these kinds of torpedoes, or these kinds of shots, because, well, you want to win the game, right? So you need to not just sit with your torpedoes doing nothing at all. But I realized that our CVs are being attacked, so maybe it's actually a better idea to deal with the stuff attacking our CVs. I'm switching to AP now, because next salvo I'm gonna fire on the Omaha, and hopefully sink her. I don't have much expectation that those torpedoes will be useful, but maybe, you know, ships will turn in a way that they run into them. But I do think our Hermes is going down. Come on! Excellent! Goodbye, Omaha. Minaka's the next. Also, if you're wondering, the announcer I'm using is Atago from Azure Lane. Oh, that Corbeil is actually low. Maybe I should finish her off first. Just in case maybe she decides to take a shot on me or something. Because it could be quite dangerous to do that. Oh, I have torpedoes from the other... Actually, no. Do I want to? No, I don't think I should fire these. Yeah, especially with the Hermes doing that maneuver. Actually, I guess I could fire them behind the Hermes. Maybe they'll hit. But first, gun salvo for sure. High drop. Maybe it'll help the Hermes again. Or maybe it'll help just me. Because it's not guaranteed the Minakazu will torp the Hermes. Maybe she will drop torps on me. Okay, she's smoked. I could go closer to hydro her. But the problem is if I try to go closer, I will be opening my side up to the Kaiser that I mentioned earlier that I said that needs to go down, and that's not good for me. Oh! The Minakaze is firing. Oh, and actually I got close enough, quicker than I thought. And the Kaiser kinda ignored me. So, now it's time to sail towards the... Actually, I'm gonna sail towards her, but at a slight angle. If something targets me, I'll try to find out who it is. And while doing so, I'll try to sink the Kaiser. I think those torpedo bombers are coming for me, fairly certain, but I don't quite realize it yet. I realize it now, so I launched the float fighter, but now I need to do a risky maneuver. Luckily, the Kaiser is not interested in shooting me. This could have gone really badly for me if the CV and Kaiser had done so at the same time. But now I'm gonna want to turn into the Kaiser anyway, because, well, CV is behind me, Kaiser is gonna fire on me, and I want to torpedo the Britannia. Oh! My Hermes helped me out quite a bit. And I'm actually surprised that she did not go down. You know, the one that was really closely chased by the DD. But she didn't go down, and she helped me finish that Kaiser off, which is good, because if I had taken longer, this Britannia could have engaged me. Now, the torpedo firing arcs are actually really good. However, keep in mind that when you're opening up your torpedo firing arcs, you are vulnerable to battleship fire. But when you're sailing, not quite like this, but when maneuvering, it's gonna be difficult for the Britannia to citadel me. 2 torpedoes, excellent. And as you just saw, sure, that salvo hurt, but none of those were citadels. If she had citadeled me from the bow, like many cruisers can be hit for, I would have gone down immediately from that salvo, but I didn't. Also, another thing to point out is that Britannia has 41k HP. My maximum HP is 32k. So this heavy cruiser is heavy. And that's ship number 4 that's down. Next one is this New York. We've pretty much won the game. They still have a CV and 2 battleships, but we have 3 battleships, a CV, 2 cruisers, so it's gonna be fine. And especially if the CV is interested in trying to strike me, I don't think she's gonna have much success, meaning that this is gonna be very useful for my team. By the way, if you don't know the CV controls much, you can set the side you want to prioritize your anti-Aerroon. That is, it'll be stronger for a little bit, and the other side will be weaker. I have bound it to the weak key, that way it's easy. I don't actually remember what the default keybind is. I want to torpedo that New York, and this is actually a mistake I'm gonna make here. You won't really notice it well, but I'll show this later. You see, notice that friendly cruiser over there. The way I fire the torps, there's no chance she's gonna get hit, right? Well, wrong. She's gonna get hit by my torpedo. And I'll show that in full later. I do think you should take these torpedoes, but sometimes just bad things happen. The friendly carrier is to the right side of me, so by friendly I mean enemy carrier, so there she is. I'm going to focus on her now. Well, that Hosha should have started moving much earlier. But now it's too late. I don't actually know what ammo type you should use against CVs at this tier, because AP could very well just over-penetrate and not do much. But maybe you can get citadel hits. But I do know that these torpedoes are going to be very effective, because CVs at tier 4 aren't the fastest. Let's see. Yeah, just overpens. Maybe you need to just aim correctly, but my angle is gonna be poor in a moment, so I'm not sure. Maybe I should fire AP again, because I do overmatch quite a bit of armor at this tier. But hopefully the torps finish it off. 4 penetrations, that was actually useful. Switching to HE wasn't the greatest idea, but torps should finish her, right? Okay. I only hit 1 torpedo. That's not great. I wanted to turn away to go towards the last enemy ship after the CV goes down, but maybe that was a mistake, because she's gonna get away in a moment. I need to land these shots. And I am being targeted by the Piotr Veliki as well. Also, I would like to make a little complaint. I think CVs take too little damage from damage over time effects, especially damage over time effects like fires, because they last like, what, 5 or 10 seconds? It's very difficult to kill a CV with fire if you can't, you know, penetrate. It's fine at this tier because you can just sink her and stuff, but wait, what? Oh no, no, she got away but with 150 HP. I guess it's blind fire time. Let's go. No problem. And that's a Kraken. And now it's time to go for the Piotr Veliki. If she shows up at some point, but I guess I'll just sail towards her. CV is gonna target me again, but wow, that actually took out my engine, but only did 300 damage, so who cares really? And she has 3000 HP. I wanna sink her. I wanna be the one to sink her, so I can have sunk half the enemy team. Damage on the fire? That's okay. And now it's a race around the island to try to be the one who can finish her off, instead of the New York or Wyoming or the Hermes. 126k damage so far though, so yeah, I think for a tier 5 ship, that's pretty good. Can't really complain. And I should be able to get a shot soon. Probably not gonna be enough though. The Alpha Strike isn't exactly strong on the ship. 1000 damage, but a fire, so she should go down to me. But the Hermes might be able to snag the kill though with the Die Bomber Strike. So let's just try to fire everything. Come on. Wow, did the Hermes Strike just miss? But I sank her, and I think it was fire. It was a great game, but the ship helped quite a bit. 340 points, I'll take it. 129k damage. Unfortunately, I did go pink in it. I got the Kraken. 6 ships destroyed. 19 planes shot down actually, and 3 by the fighter. I got 2295 base XP at tier 5. Tier 5 in a 4-5 game even. Oh man. Number 2 was 1100 on our team. And here you can see I did 5k damage with the torpedo. That's unfortunate. To the friendly cruiser. Actually, let's take a look at that, okay? So, here I am at the moment of the launch of the torpedoes. And here are the torpedoes going. As you can see, the Dugai throwing is going to just pass by the torpedoes if she keeps going anywhere like she is. Unfortunately, she starts turning towards the torpedoes. Probably she just doesn't realize they're coming, right? Because how often do you look behind you? And even if she keeps going like this, she's likely to just pass by the torpedoes, I think. But she starts turning out, which kicks out her back or aft, and that's what takes the torpedo. That's kind of unfortunate. Obviously, I don't recommend team killing, but honestly, now she could have dodged those torpedoes, but this is tier 5, or rather he's even tier 4, so it's likely that he just isn't very experienced with the game and just didn't know exactly what to do to try to avoid them. Maybe he wanted to go sideways to get out of the way as quickly as possible. It's something, you know, players learn eventually. But I think you should take these types of torpedoes because, hey, when else would you fire torpedoes on a ship like this? I mean, I took some fairly risky torpedoes earlier in this match too, because unfortunately at tier 5, having 10-kilometer torpedo range on maps this small, it's just, you have to take some of these risky torps. And honestly, sometimes it can save the life of your ally. And if we're completely honest, then it's not like these torpedoes made any difference in the result of the game, right? I mean, but ultimately, mistakes happen, and you just have to live with it. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and saw how I went pink recently. And I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Rantan Plan, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.